Our military has become a bit addicted to combat. This is an issue that unites the squad, that unites hardcore MAGA folks, that unites libertarians. I mean, it's a very weird issue that crosses a lot of traditional ideological boundaries.
It is simply not in our interest to be entering with our military in these complex situations. Instead, what we ought to be doing is leading with our diplomacy, involving regional players, trying to understand the area, and trying to facilitate positive outcomes.
Our military has become a bit addicted to combat as a means of promotion, as a means of credibility establishment. That's how you get into those upper echelons. That's how you become a leader. And what happens to that talent development pipeline if there's peace?
Americans are not isolationists. We want to engage. We want to care about people outside our borders. We want to make sure that we're engaged, but we don't want the first thing people outside to know about is our military. And there's been a real pushback against that.
So if anything, it's just a reflexive rejection of a status quo that has not worked. And there may be different interpretations of what about it hasn't worked, but there's really little disagreement that what we're doing right now isn't working.
There is a recognition that the last thing we need is another war in the Middle East. And so I was very proud that we had over 27 Republicans join my amendment to restrict the president from getting into a war in Iran. You'll remember John Bolton almost took us there, and it was the Congress speaking out so strongly that I think had that impact. Congress needs to reassert its role. We can't just provide the president with a blank check. Let's make sure we're not getting into overseas wars.
I think it's apt to call this a post 9/11 generation, right? That has both had that feeling of being under attack, and not just on 9/11, but just the ways in which the threat of terrorism has really altered our lives and created the psychic equivalent of the Cold War hiding under the desk.
My hope for the 21st century is that we can overcome a paradigm of nationalism and division and work towards more international cooperation. I think a lot of younger members have that aspiration and hope.
You can keep believing and trying to spin and making the excuse of how hope is just around the corner, or if we do this and if we do that, we can win. But when the winning never comes and the losing continues, I think younger generations, that's all we've known, that's all we've seen, and we're sick of it.